everybody. It's Andrew Matheson with the Santa Cruz Sentinel and...
James Michael Seamus.
Michael, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Free tidbit.
Tenny, mother's maiden name.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know a little bit about us.
Not a huge fan.
All right.
This week's edition of the Week 3 previews for Saturday's games. Let's get right into it. 2 o'clock, they're all 2 o'clock games. St. Francis is visiting Pebble Beach and take on RLS, Robert Louis Stevenson School. They are 1-0. Their only win coming 2 weeks ago against Harbor.
Yeah.
They had a two-headed running back machine named Stephen Hoda and Bob Lee.
Yeah. Well, St. Francis is coming off a huge win themselves.
Yeah, against Marina.
Against Marina.
Which
it's a win. A win's a win. It's
Yeah.
momentum. It's confidence.
Yeah.
But they're playing on the road here. Granted, I mean, both teams have similar-sized rosters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip. I mean, who's still injured? Is St. Francis quarterback in there anymore? You know, who's leading the show? Is St. Francis playing some defense against quality opponents? I mean, there's things we have to look at. I mean, if these guys are just going to ground the clock over at Stevenson.
Well, I mean, similar rosters. I think St. Francis has about, what, 25, 30-ish?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was at the Harbor-Stevenson game, Stevenson had 17 players dressed. They had 25 listed on the roster. There's only 17 on the field.
But 2 big boy running backs there.
2 big boy running backs.
You know?
If you make tackles, though, you can stop them. I mean, they ran the ball more than 85% of the time against Harbor, so you know what they're going to do.
All right, so
they
stop the run, force the pass.
Stop the run, force the pass. They have a new quarterback named John Jackson. Clayton Archer was their guy last year. He's now the tight end. John Jackson is their QB, but they just didn't throw the ball that much. It'll be interesting because they had a bye last week, so they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game and 2 weeks to prepare for St. Francis. But I mean, Sandro is back at QB for St. Francis.
That's a plus.
Carmona, I like what they did in their previous game against King City, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago against King City, St. Francis. When they established the run with Carmona, they looked a lot better when they did that. I feel like that really helped out the passing game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Stevenson beat Harbor and they kind of ran all over them, but I think St. Francis can shut them down. I think. Again, if you can make your tackles, you can beat Stevenson.
If they make their tackles.
They're
not huge in the linebacker area for St. Francis. So.
No, but I mean, Clancy Ryan, they got him on the line, and he's a force, so...
Okay. Actually,
I kind
of like Stevenson this one.
Okay. All right. I'm going with St. Francis. Traitor.
Also Saturday afternoon, Marina, winless at 0-1 at Harbor High School. At 1-2. The Pirates coming off a loss to Mills College in Millbrae, and looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. I think they do it here.
What better team to do it against than Marina?
Yeah.
We don't know almost anything about Marina except that they play 11-man football since 2010. Yeah. They've yet to win a game in 11-man football since 2010. They've only compiled 55 points in that time frame. They're coming off a loss, 44-0 to St. Francis.
So, do they really even play football?
They do.
They do. Okay. Just checking. Well,
I mean, it should be a win for Harbor.
Okay.
It should be. I mean, they have a 2-game losing streak going, and this should be a nice getting back to the win column game for them, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Harbor did really well in defense last week, even though they gave up 4 or 5 big plays. Other than that, they played well, and I think they will annihilate Marina. Not so much annihilate them, but they'll control the clock, and they'll put up a 28-35 spot.
They'll dominate.
Yeah.
Okay. They won't annihilate, they'll dominate.
Yeah.
There you go. If you're still with us, we appreciate it. We're on the final game of this double coverage Week 3 slate.
Of course they're still with us.
Cabrillo, winless, 0-2. At Mendocino, 1-2, a rare day game, 2 p.m. kickoff. The big story in this game is going to be who is at quarterback for Mendocino. Last week, it's early in the week right now, so we're going off of stat sheets from last week. And the story from last week's Mendocino game against Hartnell was they had 2 quarterbacks, Andrew Paulson and Kyle Harmick. Harmick is one of the top recruits in California at the quarterback position. He's leading his conference in passing. He's got 764 yards in 3 games after throwing 9 yards last week. So he's still leading after throwing 9 yards last week. If he's the starter, it's a completely different story for Cabrillo. If Paulson's the guy, then Cabrillo might be able to pull out a victory, I think.
Well, I guess that storyline kind of mirrors its way over to Cabrillo, because who's
yeah.
going to be quarterback there? I mean, Brent Moyer threw 4 interceptions last week and a loss to Dienza. His backup also threw a pick, Lucas Romanski. And then Riggs Powell, the third-string guy at Aptos High, fumbled away a snap. So all three had turnovers. All three contributed to a 6-turnover evening. No controversy. Brent Moyer will probably be in there, I'd imagine. But that said, and from my infinite knowledge of speaking with Coach Garrison, I imagine Moyer will be in there.
Yeah.
And I just want to see these guys play some defense in the secondary and just play some ball. It looks like they're struggling a little bit with their pass game. Cabrillo is. And
well, and we talked about their pass rush last week. They did 3 sacks.
They're injured
last week. They are banged up though as well.
Cabrillo's a little injured.
Which was the big story last year, which kind of affected them big time last year. But they did have 4 starters missing from last week's game. But just jumping back, we did talk about their pass rush. They did get 3 sacks. J.P. Holbert, 10 tackles. PV alum, so good for him. But again, I think this game really comes down to we are thinking Moyer is the guy for Cabrillo at least.
Yeah, but I still
who's the guy for Mendocino is kind of up in the air.
I don't think it really matters. I still like Mendocino on this one.
Even with Paulson?
Yeah, I do. They have so many out-of-state players coming in there right near the Nevada border. It's just they're pretty good every year.
Okay, I'm gonna completely. You can check out my blog where I make my picks on Friday, but until then, I don't know. Whoever's starting at QB for Mendocino, I think is going to be the key.
Yeah,
Harmick. I think I like Mendocino. If it's Paulson, I like Cabrillo. So,
and lastly is Scotts Valley High with a bye. So bye, but
check us out Sunday analysis or Monday analysis, whenever you get to your computer.
SantaCruzSentinel.com.
Yeah, SantaCruzSentinel.com coverage of all week 3 games, and check us out.
/football. Santa Cruz Sentinel /football.
I did forget that. Thank you. See you later.
Yes,